Hey guys, happy Sunday. I hope you all are having a great, I guess I should say, end to your weekend, and that you're all having like a restful Sunday. If you're anything like me, you love to rest on Sundays. Sundays are like the designated self-care day. And so I'm super excited to share a glowy makeup routine with you guys today. I've shared one in the past using mostly Cosus products, but I'm super excited to share some new products that I have been using over the last couple of weeks to achieve a kind of glowy makeup look. I absolutely love a glowy makeup look. It doesn't matter what time of the year it is, whether it's summer, fall, winter, whatever. I always want my skin to be glowing and just looking like nice and natural and healthy. So this isn't going to be like a super heavy makeup tutorial. It's going to be mostly pretty light and natural, but definitely emphasis on the glow. I will be using products from Vapor Beauty, Dome Beauty, and some from Cosus as well. So during the live, if you like any of the products, you can save 15% off on them during the live stream and as well as 30 minutes after the live. And everything that I'm sharing, if there is multiple shades, don't worry, you can pick your shade. I just have it on like the present mode so that you can see the product and be able to shop it afterwards. So, as you have questions throughout the live, feel free to ask me. If I forget to cover something, definitely ask in the chat box, and I will do my best to answer for you. And if I sound like I'm out of breath, it's probably because I am this week going to be 39 weeks pregnant, so I'm like fixing to pop any day. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and get started with the Vapor Beauty Velvet Glow Foundation. So the name of the foundation in and of itself says a lot because it's all about the glow. So grab it here. This is the bottle. It's about, let's see, 1 fluid ounce, but a little does go a long way. So don't worry about like the size, because you usually with a small bottle, that usually means that you really don't need to use a lot of it. And as for the shade, I'm using the shade 123V. So whenever you're looking at the shades, just look at the numbers and it will show you like the different shades and help you match it, but definitely give it a nice shake. And then what I do is I just put some, I just put it like directly on the beauty blender. You just squeeze it out and then I just dab it onto each part of my face and I blend it out with a beauty blender, a damp beauty blender, I should say. I absolutely love this foundation though, because it is like, I'd say it's probably a medium full cover or a medium coverage. So it's like not super heavy or thick, but it still gives you like a nice coverage. It's going to cover any sort of like if you have any pimples or anything, it's going to cover that up. But yeah, so I just blend it out like this. And as you can see, I'm standing in natural light because I want you guys to see what this looks like without any artificial light, because that is super important. Anytime I'm putting on makeup, I always try to stand in the natural light, because then you know what it's going to look like when you're standing out like in the sun and stuff. But yeah, and I always get a foundation that is like a shade or two lighter than my body, because you never want your face to be darker than your body. So you can always bronze up your face, which we will do. But yeah, that is the foundation. And as you can see, it's like super pretty. And you can kind of see like the glow that it gives off. I absolutely love it. I will say it does have an interesting smell. I don't even know what I would say that it smells like. All I can say is that it's kind of interesting. But it doesn't bother me, and it doesn't like linger or anything, so you don't need to worry about that. But yeah, so that is the Velvet Glow foundation, and I just literally squeezed it out just the tiniest bit onto the beauty blender, and then just blended it onto my face. And I literally, like, I feel like I blend forever just because it drives me crazy when the makeup is like uneven on your face. So definitely take my time with that. And I'll be using this probably a few other times throughout this tutorial also. So the next thing that I will use is the Cosus Sun Show Moisturizing Baked Bronzer. This is one of my favorite bronzers. It's like, just gives a nice natural glow. And then I'm using the shade medium. I don't like to get super, super dark. But then I just kind of like dab it onto my cheekbones. I never go like up and down like this on my face because it drags your foundation and you do not want to do that. So dabbing it on is going to give you the most natural result. But yeah, just put it up here on my cheekbones. And I'm like not super specific about the brushes that I use. Honestly, you'll see. I use the same brushes for my blush that I do for my bronzer. And that may be like a big no-no, but it works for me. So that is what I do. But yeah, I just kind of put it on until I feel like I've got a nice bronzed look on my face. Nice sun-kissed glow. I do put it on my nose, and then I dab it once again onto my hairline and onto my forehead, just like that. And I always go under my jawline. Just kind of helps sculpt out your jaw, which, who doesn't love a snatched jaw? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that is the bronzer. I absolutely love this bronzer. I think it is amazing. And it is clean, so it's like not got any nasty chemicals or anything like that in it. So that is my bronzer. I always go in with my bronzer second. And that just kind of helps you see like kind of if you're using a lighter foundation, this is what's going to help give you more of that tan color to kind of blend it in with the rest of your body. So that is the Cosus bronzer. And again, you can save 15% off on all these products throughout the live. So if you're in need of some new products and you like some of these, now's the time to get it. Okay, next I'm going in with the Dome Beauty Cheek Envy Blush. And I have it in the shade Georgian Glow. Again, going along with the glow theme. We love to see it. This is what it looks like. It kind of has almost like a peachy shade to it. Definitely not as like pink as most blushes that I use, but that's okay because I like this because this has a more, to me, like kind of sun-kissed look to it. But again, I just kind of dab it on my cheeks. And I always put my blush and my bronzer where the sun, where I would naturally get like a lot of sun. Because that is where you want to look like a sun-kissed goddess. That is always my goal. So as you can see, I'm just kind of popping some on my nose. using the same exact brush I used for my bronzer. Gosh, I just love blush and bronzer. It is like God's gift, man. I love using, like, just even if I don't like go crazy on my eye makeup, I love using blush, blush and bronzer, because I feel like without it, I look like a thumb, and I'm not out here trying to look like a thumb. I need color to my face. So yeah, that is the blush, the shade Georgian Glow, and I'm gonna go over all these products again at the end so that you remember all the shades that I got in case you have like a similar complexion to me. And for anyone who joins like towards the end of the live. So as you can see, we've still got this glow going on. This is before any highlighter at all. So we'd love to see it. All right, speaking of highlighter, we are going to go in next with the Dome Beauty Luminary Glow Powder. And this is a very, very glowy highlighter. As you can see, it's like got some shimmer to it. So I go in very lightly because I don't love when highlighter is like super thick. It just almost gives a cast on your face that just looks, it just doesn't look natural. And the key is to look as natural as possible. So I just added the tiniest bit, but it still gives like such a beautiful glow. And I always put some on the tip of my nose, on the high points of my cheekbones, kind of up here on my hairline. And then I'm going to go back in with this after I do my eyeshadow, and I'm going to pop some in the corners of my eyes because it just helps to brighten your eyes. So that is the highlighter from Dome Beauty. It is a powder. It's not a cream or anything like that, which I do love cream highlighters, but I would say that this one is really, really, really good. Just want to give you guys like a good look to it. But yeah, super, super pretty and natural. Honestly, if I wanted to, I could just call it a day and go with this kind of makeup because it's just, it doesn't look like a whole lot. But it's just like, I just did enough to make it look like I'm like awake and glowy. I love it. I absolutely love it. So the next, I'm gonna go in with the eyeshadow. All right, next I'm gonna use the Vapor Beauty Eyeshadow Quad, and they have a few different shades of this that are so pretty. But I went with the one called Hypnotic. So it's like pink and has some almost like purpley brown shades, which is honestly a little bit out of my comfort zone. So, but I'm going to show you kind of how I do it. So usually I go in with the darker shades and put it in the crease of my eyes. It just kind of helps to open up the eye. I always do this with my eyeshadows. If I do eyeshadow, that is what I do. I always go in with the darker shade in the crease. I remember when I first started doing makeup and doing things like this really freaked me out until I put on like mascara and all that stuff. Like having the eyeshadow all crazy before you had anything else on. It's like, oh my God, do I really like this? But trust me, the end result is beautiful. So don't get freaked out. Again, I'm just trying to keep this as like light and natural as possible. But I just kind of go in the crease like this. Again, it just kind of makes the eyes kind of look a little bigger. Just kind of opens them up a little bit. And I just kind of blend them out until I feel like they are blended enough. So you can see I like it all up in the crease like that. And then I do drag it down my eyelids too. Just like that. And then I probably, if I wanted to, I'd go in with this little, it's like a shimmery shade of that same exact color pretty much. I'll go in to the more of the corner of the crease and pop it in right there. Always like it to be a little bit darker just on the outside. Again, it just kind of helps to give the illusion of a nice open eye. Okay, and then I will go in with this light little pink color. Always tap your brushes to get the leftover powder off or eyeshadow off. So I'm going in with a lighter color on my lid. You can see like how much fallout is coming off. The reason I do that is to keep it from falling onto my face from my brush. But yeah, it just kind of lightens up the lids a little bit. So yeah, super, super pretty. Kind of like a neutral, honestly, kind of a neutral purpley kind of color. That's so pretty and so natural looking. Not a super pigmented color. Again, that is the color or the palette Hypnotic, and there are 4 eyeshadows in here. And again, if these aren't your colors, that's totally fine. Typically, I wouldn't go for colors that are like on the purpley pink side, but I wanted to try something new, and I absolutely love it. They do have other colors that are more like kind of golden, neutral, which is usually what I go for. Hopefully they're in stock, but yeah, super good deal for 4 eyeshadows. Again, you can save like $6 on this eyeshadow palette during the live and 30 minutes afterwards. And then I'm going to take this highlighter again. Let me go back to it. I'm going to go back in with this powder highlighter. I'm literally just going to take my pinky. Some people use a brush, and that's fine. I just use my pinky. And I just go into the corner of my eye, just like that. I literally just dab it right there. And as you can see, it just kind of gives this like nice, pretty awake look. I absolutely love doing my makeup. Like, it makes me feel so much more put together. Okay, so what do we have next? All right, next I'm gonna go in with the Dome Beauty Black Magic Mascara. Actually, before I do that, if you have like some kind of face mist, I don't have one listed on here, but if you have any sort of like face mist and you want the dewy, glowy makeup look, I always recommend spritzing some on your face before you do your mascara, because it just helps set your makeup, but also helps to just even further enhance that like dewy makeup look, which is my absolute favorite. So if you have any sort of like facial mist, any one will work, I'm sure. I highly recommend using it. If you don't be sleeping on that. But again, so this is the Black Magic Mascara, and just gonna pop it on. I usually, actually, I'm gonna use one of these other mirrors because I don't like using my phone as a mirror. It's a little odd. I don't usually like applying mascara to my lower lashes, just because I find that most mascaras will, how do I say this, sweat onto your under eye, or like right below your eyes, And I do not like looking like a raccoon. And that's kind of what it makes you look like. Raccoon. That's not the look we're going for. So I know some people curl their eyelashes. I should probably get into that because it looks beautiful when people do that, but that's not what I'm doing today. So just apply the mascara. I literally always apply like several coats just to make sure that I am getting enough. But yeah, so that is pretty much like the last step in my routine. I don't use eyeliner very often, but if I do, what I usually do is I will take, give me 1 second. I will take an angled brush like this that is like, the bristles are very stiff, but it's angled, so it kind of helps with giving that winged eyeliner effect. And I will use like a dark eyeshadow, so this one would be perfect. Now I'll kind of show you what I do. Again, always tap it off. And I just put it on almost like the ends of my eyelid and just give myself a nice little wing. Sometimes I kind of drag it more onto the eyelid, on the base of the eyelid, or gosh, what are these called? Eyelashes. But with that, it just makes it super easy to just pop it on, and it just kind of like gives that nice winged effect, but it's still super natural. And throughout the day it might fade a little bit, but that's okay because it's still gonna look like super natural. But I literally did this entire eye makeup look using this eyeshadow palette, so I didn't need eyeliner or anything like that. Of course, if you like eyeliner, that's totally fine. It just makes it easier for me, and I found that the eyeshadow will not sweat onto my face like a normal eyeliner would. I'm trying to think. I did add a concealer on here. I did not use this concealer or any concealer for that matter. But if you want to, I've heard this concealer is absolutely amazing. But it's super, super like, if you want to use like a lighter concealer below your eyes, it just helps again to just kind of like brighten your under eyes and make you look very awake, and just kind of helps to achieve that like very healthy glow. So or to cover up any sort of blemishes or anything like that. I think earlier I said pimples. Blemishes is probably a better word. Or any like sort of any sort of discoloration that you want to cover up. But again, the foundation, let's see, the Vapor Velvet Glow foundation literally covered up pretty much any sort of imperfections that I might want to cover up. So super happy with this foundation. Again, I use the shade 123V, which is just like a little bit lighter than my body, and I've got like self tan on, so I always get a shade or two lighter for my face. So keep that in mind whenever you're shopping for makeup for your face, because sometimes foundations will, what's the word? Basically, when it dries, it looks a little darker than it actually was. I cannot think of the word. Pregnancy brain's really getting to me, but but it will become darker. So it's always best to stay on the safe side and get a little bit lighter than your body. So again, that's the, here, let me present it to you again. Velvet Glow foundation, and normally it's $48, but with the 15% off you can get it for $40. And again, this does look super small, but it should last a pretty long time because I didn't use a whole lot, especially when you use a damp beauty blender. It really helps to just blend and help the foundation like soak into your face, so it looks nice and natural and you don't need to use a whole lot of it. And then for my bronzer, I'm just kind of going over all these products again for anyone who may have missed them. The Cosus Sun Show Moisturizing Baked Bronzer. Again, I don't use a whole lot of it, but I really just use it in the places where the sun would naturally give me some color. So on my cheeks and on my nose, up on my hairline, and sometimes I'll just drag it down my neck too to make sure that it's blending in to my body, because I never want my face to be darker than my body. And let's see, for my blush, I used, let me go back to blush. I love that I can present these again because I used to not be able to do that. I used the Cheek Envy blush by Dome Beauty. This is cute little, I don't know if you call this a palette or not, but I use the shade Georgian Glow. And it is a little bit more peachy than I usually use. I usually go for more like pink, or like a very like rosy kind of color. But this I feel like is perfect for just like a nice sun-kissed blush. Because it is kind of more peach. I feel like it's almost like an in-between of like a bronzer and a nice pink blush. But let me grab my brush. Again, I just like dabbed it in and then just like popped it onto my cheeks. I'm never afraid to go overboard on my blush. Well, you don't want to go overboard, but I'm not afraid to do a little bit more blush because it is one of the first things to kind of like sweat off your face throughout the day. So I'm not afraid to like go in a little heavier with that, but I put it on my cheeks and onto my nose, pretty much all the places that I put my bronzer, I put my blush. I just don't put my blush below my jawline or anything like that. Always pop it onto my forehead too, just because, again, that's a place where I would naturally get some sun. So I absolutely love, love, love this blush. It does look small, but a little goes a long way. I feel like blushes and bronzers do typically last a little bit longer. And again, you can save 15% off on this during the live stream and 30 minutes afterwards. And then for my eyeshadow, I used the Vapor Beauty Eyeshadow Quad Palette. That for sure I can say is a palette. And I used the shade Hypnotic, which is a little bit more like purpley pink than I am used to, but I literally just took this matte color and just blended it into my crease, the crease of my eyelids like this, and brought it down to my eyelid as well. And then I took this, it's a very similar color, but a little bit more shimmery. And I just literally popped it like in the corners and kind of blended that. And then went in with the pink on my eyelid. So, and then for my eyeliner, I literally just used an angled brush. Any angled brush with like a stiff bristles will work, but I literally went into the darkest color on this palette and literally just like popped it in like that. Super, super easy. A nice way, a very like simple way to do like a winged eyeliner, but not have it look super intense or heavy like with a normal eyeliner pen. So gives a nice natural look. And then for my highlighter, I'm trying to go over this really quickly because I know I'm running out of time. I used the Dome Beauty Luminary Glow Powder, and it is very, very glowy highlighter, but it's so, so good because you really don't need a whole lot. And I literally just popped it onto my cheekbones like so, and onto my nose. And then I used the Dome Black Magic Mascara, and I only use it on the top of my eyelashes. Don't use it on the bottom just because I don't like it to sweat onto my face. And then for anyone who missed it at the beginning, I used the Vapor Beauty Velvet Glow Foundation. And a little goes a long way with this product. I literally just use the smallest amount and I put it straight onto a beauty blender. And then just a damp beauty blender. And I just blended it all over my face. And it's a very, I would say, medium coverage foundation. I didn't use any concealer. I did include one in the collection though, in case you do love to use concealer. I just didn't feel like I needed to today. So, because the foundation really just like does the job. But I did get a shade. I got shade 123V. Which is like a shade or two lighter than my body, because again, you can always use bronzer to just kind of help contour your face and help it blend into your body, because you never want your face to be darker than your body. So that is the look, and I did all of this in natural light so you can see what this would look like outside. I always recommend doing it in natural light just so you know what it's actually going to look like. Sometimes when you do it in like artificial light, it's hard to tell, but that is my glowy makeup routine using these products. And if you love this look and you are in need of some of these products, I highly recommend checking out the collection. Again, you'll have 30 minutes after this live is over to shop the collection, and I hope you find something you love. I will actually be on here again tomorrow for the last time, sharing some skincare that I use to relax, or that I would use typically on a Sunday, self-care Sunday. So thank you so much for joining, and I will see you tomorrow.